cats and boots and 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 cats. This is the Brawley Insurance Breakdown. All right, if you think you have full coverage, I need you to hear this. It's not what you think it is. Full coverage is not actually a real thing. And that misunderstanding is one of the biggest reasons most people find out the hard way that they're not really fully covered for anything. I'll help you understand that today. When most people say full coverage, what people mean is that they have some liability coverage and they have some comprehensive coverage and collision coverage that basically satisfy the state minimum limits of liability for requirements for insurance, and they have the requirements that they have for their loan. But that's about it. And while full coverage is a good start, it's really just a landing spot and more of an idea than anything. Let's break it down real quick. Liability insurance covers you if you're at fault for an accident. Comprehensive coverage covers you if something hits your car, and collision covers you if you hit something with your car. But there's a lot of other things that insurance has that aren't those three things that you could be held liable for if you're at fault for a claim or someone hits you and doesn't have insurance on their own. So we'll talk about that also. But here is what full coverage does not automatically cover. You may not have rental car coverage. You may not have roadside assistance, even though I would tell you to get AAA for roadside assistance. You might not have gap coverage if you're upside down on your loan. You might not have enough liability insurance. The state minimum limits cover you to $30,000 and $25,000 for particular parts of your policies. The most you can have, or the most you should have really, for me or my clients, or let me say it the different way, the minimum amount that I recommend my clients have is what's called a 100, 300, 100 4-year limits of liability, which does cover you for the majority of the claims, but $25,000 doesn't go very far with those state minimum limits. When people have an accident or some kind of incident and they say, I thought I had full coverage, what really they meant was they had partial coverage and they weren't properly educated at the risks that they were taking on with the policies that they accepted when they bought the insurance policy. So if you want to be covered better than you currently are, or just have a comprehensive conversation about the current coverages you currently have, you need to give our agency a call. We don't try to sell you anything that you don't need, but we will push back if you have low limits of liability that it lets you be exposed in a lot of these small claims. Again, we have minimum standards, not just that set by the state, but we set them by our agency because we don't want you to call us and say, hey, do I have this type of coverage? It's, hey, I had an accident and let's walk through it together. But a couple of things, you want to make sure you know what the coverages actually do, what parts they are. We're going to spend about 15 to 20 minutes explaining line item by line item by line item, letting you have question time back and forth to make sure you understand what you're buying, not that you're just getting full coverage. Other things, you want to make sure you know how it's structured and that we don't talk in terms of full coverage. We talk about liability limits, bodily injuries to others per accident, per occurrence, and property damage. Same thing for the uninsured motorist. Same thing for the roadside and rental. Again, I could make more money by putting roadside assistance on there, but I'll tell you to go get AAA and actually lower my commissions and stuff like that because I feel like that's what's best for our clients to do. We have that conversation and we find out things that you need. And if you have higher limits of liability that are needed due to your personal situation, we'll have that conversation also to get you to where you need to be, not leave you at risk with the common full coverage. So if you want a second opinion, whether you want quotes from me or not, and just want to talk to an insurance agent that's going to educate you on what you currently have and what you potentially should have, give our agency a call. Let us walk you through it. Again, we're not going to try to sell you on something you don't need. If you're in the best position available with your current carrier, we'll recommend some changes you might make with that current carrier. Also, if you like this content, Brawley Insurance Breakdown, we're just starting this podcast, just trying to help people out along the way with their home and auto insurance needs in Texas and Oklahoma. A lot of this information is applicable to nationwide. Click the link below in the comments. I think that's where I'm learning to put it. So just click that and subscribe and share it with others. Hope you have an amazing day.